On the world news tonight from Babagide Imo Television, first the headlines. Khan congratulates Sultan Nigerian Muslims on Eid al-Maulud. Electoral body INEC expresses worries over violence in Imo, Kogi ahead of governorship polls. Police arrest suspects linked to killing of Rivers DPO and Mushin. My dad asked me to kill him, 38-year-old man arrested. Serial mobile phone thief arrested with 890 mobile phones in Kano. And on sport, Nigeria loses as CAF awards AFCON 2027 to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. The news in detail. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has congratulated the Sultan of Sokoto, ALLEGES Abubakar III, and all Muslims across Nigeria on the occasion of Eid al-Maulud. The president of CAN, Archbishop Daniel Oko, in a message to the Muslim faithfuls on behalf of CAN and Christian community at large, called for promotion of mutual respect, understanding, and peaceful coexistence among all religions. As we commemorate this significant festival, we acknowledge Nigeria's diverse society, comprising individuals from various ethnic, cultural, and religious backgrounds. It is within this rich diversity that our strength as a nation resides. Consequently, we must persist in promoting mutual respect, understanding, and peaceful coexistence among all religious communities. Once more, on behalf of the Christian Association of Nigeria, I wish the Muslim faithful in Nigeria a peaceful celebration. The statement reads, the Eid al-Maulud celebration is for the commemoration of the birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And to the next story. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC on Wednesday expressed worries over the insecurity in Imo State in the southeast and Kogi State in the north-central regions of Nigeria ahead of the forthcoming governorship election in the states. The National Commissioner of the Electoral Body, Malam Mohammed Kudu Aruna, while expressing the Commission's concerns over the security situation in the identified states, highlighted the need for improved security measures by the government. The INEC Commissioner disclosed the Commission's worries over current situation in the state on Wednesday during a media executives meeting for the 2023 governorship election in Awori, Imo State capital. Aruna further identified Bayelsa as one of the states that needed improved security measures for a peaceful and successful electoral process. The electoral umpire therefore appealed to politicians, their political parties, and their electorates to conduct themselves in a manner that will allow for peace to prevail during and after the election in order to enable voters to exercise their franchise. Police operatives in Rivers State have arrested one of the suspects linked to the killing of Mr. Bako and Bashim. Bashim, Superintendent of Police, had led his men to raid criminal hideout in the Odemode community in Ahoda, West Local Government area of the state, on September 8, when a dreaded court group led by Okpara ambushed them and opened fire and eventually captured Bashim and did the act on his body and filmed their action. Since the incident, the State Police Command under Commissioner of Police Emeka Nwoye has been on the hunt for these miscreants. The Police Public Relations Officer of the command, Grace Iringe Koko, confirmed the arrest of one of the suspects in a statement on Wednesday. She said the suspect was about to be leaned by the youth before police operatives came to the rescue. The River State Police operatives on Monday at about 7:43 acting on an actionable information received that in Edoha community in Ahoada East, one of the suspects who brutally killed SP Ibafo and Mushin was about to be leaned to death by an angry mob, she stated. Subsequently, a team of policemen swung into action to rescue the suspect, who was about to be bombed with a tire on his neck. He was rescued and brought to the station where he made a useful information. He was later transferred to the SCID for discreet investigation with a view to apprehend the fleeing kingpin, his gang members, and to recover their operational weapons. The suspect, whose name is not mentioned, is said to be part of the gang who brutally murdered the DPO SP Bako and Bashim earlier this month. His killing attracted nationwide condemnation, with the police high command, the federal and River State government ordering an investigation and immediate arrest of the suspects. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara also placed a bounty of 100 million naira on the kingpin, gifts David Okpalo and his criminal gang. Days after the suspects were declared wanted, a video they purposefully filmed surfaced on the internet, showing them celebrating and hailing themselves as victors. Moving on to the next story. A 38-year-old man identified as Matthew Ifeanyi Onadike, who was arrested for killing his late father, Pa Anthony Onadike, with a magistrate has said he carried out the heinous act because his father asked him to do so. Matthew, who was apprehended by the Ogun State Community Social Orientation and Safety Corps, codenamed SOSAFE, and handed over the man to Songo Divisional Headquarters of the Ogun State Police Command, said his father had told him severally that he wanted peace of mind, which he interpreted to mean the old man asking to be killed. SOSAFE Corps in a statement had discovered how its officers were called and informed of the suspect killing his biological father, Pa Onadike, by inflicting several machete cuts on his head. Though the octogenarian was rushed to the hospital, the doctor who attended to him on arrival at the hospital confirmed him dead. Matthew was said to have resisted arrest but was eventually subdued and taken into custody. During plenary investigation, he claimed that it was his father's refusal to give him 70,000 naira he kept with him since 2022 that made him commit the murder. He said his parents advised him to quit his job. However, after quitting his job, his parents refused to cater for him, and this led to the killing of his father. And to the next story from Kano State. A serial mobile phone thief, Ibrahim Adamu, has been nabbed in Kano State. The phone thief was arrested with 890 mobile phones. A statement released by the police spokesperson, SP Abdullah Ikiawa, says the police command was following up a public outcry received from the coordinators of Lens-Oleka GSM Market Farm Center Kano that on August 24, unknown persons broke into 11 shops, through the roof ceilings and stole some mobile phones, desktop and laptop computers, some sales money, ATM cards and other accessories. He said a sustained intelligence-led operation was launched that led to the arrest of one Ibrahim Adamu of Celery Quarters, Aroni LGA Kano 4. He mentioned that the suspect confessed to the police that he single-handedly committed the offense and led them to recovery of 106 mobile phones, 9 laptop computers, sales money sum of 115,000 naira and 40 naira, ATM cards and other accessories. Kiawa added that the suspect will be charged to court upon completion of the ongoing investigation. Moving on to the next story. Residents and business owners in Ibafo community of Obafemi Awori local government area of Ogun State have been plagued by a recent surge in burglary in the area. The development it was learned had left residents anxious and demanding stronger security measures. Reports of burglaries and theft have become increasingly common, prompting concerned citizens and victims of the crimes to raise the alarm. Information gathered that the areas affected include Hallelujah Quarters, Liberty Estate, Ebute, Akoka. It was gathered that shops around First Bank and Mechanic Workshop, amongst others in the area, had been hit by a series of breaks-in that left residents feeling vulnerable and frustrated. It was learned that there had also been reports of stolen cars, parts in the communities, making Mechanic Workshop to avoid bringing vehicles to their shops for repairs. A concerned resident who preferred not to be mentioned recounted our experience with one of correspondents on ground. Moving on to the story from Lagos State. A yet-to-be-identified mother in the Mushin area of Lagos State is currently battling for her life after losing 2 of her children to electrocution on Thursday. According to sources in the area, the children, a girl aged 10 and a boy aged 7, were electrocuted when they attempted to turn on the television after returning from school. Information gathered from the sources in the area that parents who were speculated to have been away or inside the room when the incident occurred, on learning the fate of their children, were thrown into despair, with the mother fainting and currently battling for her life at the hospital. Speaking on, a resident of the area named Toyosi described the incident as a work of the devil. They said at that spot until the light was taken and then they fell. I heard the woman is still at the hospital. She has yet to recover from the shock. We heard that when people went to visit her, she couldn't talk, she couldn't cry, she just sat at spot looking. Another resident of the area, who refused to mention her name, disclosed that the mother of the children had a 3rd child she was breastfeeding when the 2 other ones passed on. From that story, we go to the foreign story this hour. At least 100 people were killed and more than 150 injured when a fire broke out during a wedding at an event hall in the northern Iraqi town of Karakosh, officials said early Wednesday. At the main hospital in the predominantly Christian town east of Mosul, an information photographer saw ambulances arriving with sirens blaring and dozens of people gathering in the courtyard to donate blood. Others could be seen gathering in front of the open doors of a refrigerated truck loaded with black body bags. Citing the preliminary tally, Iraqi's official INA reported that health authorities in Nawawit province had counted 100 dead and more than 150 injured in the fire at a marriage hall in Amdaniya, as the town is also known. The casualty toll was confirmed by Health Ministry spokesperson Saf Al-Badr. And the last news for today is a sports story. On a sad note for Nigeria, who bidded for the next African match to be hosted in African continent, hopes of Nigeria and Benin Republic to co-host in the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations were dashed as the Confederation of African Football CAF opted to award the hosting right to Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. The decision was relieved from the CAF Executive Committee meeting held on Wednesday. In another significant development, Morocco emerged victorious in securing the right to host the 2025 edition of the AFCON finals. This marks Nigeria's continued absence as a host since their last staging of Africa's premier football competition in the year 2000, where they shared hosting duties with Ghana. With that sports story, we've ended today's world news from Baba Bagide Imo Television. Before we go, some headlines. Khan congratulates Sultan, Nigerian Muslims on Eid al-Maulud. Electoral body INEC expresses worries over violence in Imo, Kogi ahead of governorship poll. Police arrest suspect linked to killing of Rivers DPO and Mushin. And finally on sport, Nigeria lose as CAF World AFCON 2027 to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawal.